Man, this is my first time owning these. This colorway, at least. Man, it smells like the year I graduated. Yeah, 2001. Ooh, it smells like an MVP caliber season. And a step over. Yeah, you got a faint smell of Tyrone Lue. Hey, what's good, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look on what could have been bad boy. And this is the Reebok Answer 4, the white and red colorway. I really love Allen Iverson, man. I think that dude was a beast on court. We just talked about him in a different video. What video was that?
The black toes?
Oh yeah, it was. There's too many questions releasing, and I love the questions.
And not enough answers.
Not enough answers until right now. I've been waiting for these because these released in 2012? I could be wrong. I'm going just right off top, but I'm pretty sure that these released right around then. And I did not actually get them because I was being a stickler about the cut and the height and the strap and all that stuff. And even though I had gotten every other colorway, it was these. These were originally low tops. And low tops they should have remained. But after passing on them, I did regret it because this is my actual favorite colorway of the shoe. I really love these. They're not perfect though. So we're gonna go over all of the things that they should have done. Them being low tops is one of them. But first, look at that outsole, man. Herringbone for the win, laterally too, cover them crosses and stuff. And this dude embarrassed like almost everybody in the league, including Michael Jordan on a number of occasions. Maybe this is like a detriment to his legacy or whatever, because people just think that he's just the guy that did the crossover. They don't seem to remember how good he was just overall. Like the dude could finish, he could shoot everything. He was listed at like 6 foot, 6'1", something like that, even though he was really 5'10". He was a small man in the league, man. But yeah, I did do a performance review on these way back when they first released. I think it was the one with the black toe. It's not like a great performer or anything, especially with all the changes that they've made to them, but they're decent. So if you wanted to get an insole just to play in some Iversons, you could, but I don't really see like a lot of new generation people doing that because they'd rather wear like anything else. You know, if it's a Reebok, they're not having it. Now the midsole on these guys is where they really start to change things up, because the original did have DMX foam, but they also had the air transfer iPack system, which was a DMX cushion. So before Reebok made DMX foam, they actually had DMX, which was the air transfer system. And the iPack was what was originally in these guys way back when. And the iPack was, it looked like an eye. So you had the heel unit, you had the forefoot unit, and then you had a transfer, basically like tube that would connect the two. So whenever you stepped on the heel, it would push the air into the front, and then when you stepped on the front, it would push it back into the back. These don't have that, and they should. Why? Because they put them on the recent retros, man. They put it on the Reebok Answer 5, and they put it on the Reebok Answer 1, and the Reebok Answer 1 originally had a DMX 10 pack. They changed it to a 1 pack, or the iPack, whatever.
Oh, you mean like the letter I?
Yes. Oh, what were you thinking?
An eyeball?
No. That would just be an oval.
And so that's what I was picturing in the heel.
They called it an iPack because it was an I.
The letter I.
The letter I. Yes,
Okay.
and then the 10 pack was 5 and 5 with tubes. I think there was a 5 pack. Nick Van Exel used to wear those. They were like white and blue when he was with the Lakers, which was super weird because we were like, blue's not Laker colors, but he wore them anyways. It was a great system. It wasn't durable. It was comfortable when it was like good. This is one of the shoes where I believe that they kept the tooling from the last round of retros, because I think the last one that they did on these was the one that Kobe wore. They were white with purple. So for whatever reason, they kept the tooling for this, and they just decided to just drop them without the iPack. Now, there are 2 new colorways that are awful. By awful, I mean just hideous. Guy Fieri flames on the toes. Anyways, the description on the Reebok.com website says on those colorways that there is the air transfer system in there, and I highly doubt it. I think it's a typo, because I just don't see Reebok changing the tooling, because that's a cost for those and not these. However, the description for these actually meets what's actually there, which is that there is no iPack in here, it's just DMX foam. So I don't know for a fact, I'm just assuming that those ugly colorways don't have the iPack in there. And if they do, I'm not going to be happy, because this is the shoe that deserves that type of treatment.
I have spoken.
Now, along with the cushion that is or is not there, they do have the leather wrap or whatever around the forefoot, which I think is dope. That was an original feature. However, the back section right here, all this gray, it used to be reflective. This shoe used to look just like this. This is how they came. This is the all white pair with the silver, but imagine them with the red toe. That's what the original white and red colorway was. But anyways, this is what they used to look like. You can see that the toes are not quite the same. They got that bubble. So I think that lasts are just different nowadays, which sucks because they don't fit as close to the foot as they should, especially for a performance shoe. Obviously, when they're made for lifestyle nowadays, it doesn't matter, but look at that right there, okay? And that's great, okay? This being reflective is great, but look at this. This is what it's supposed to be like, okay? That whole thing is supposed to reflect, and it doesn't. Why not? Also, the tongue right in there, it reflects. And it does that here too, so they did good on there. Now these do look like the PE that he wore, so that's the one thing where I will give them credit, I guess, is that it's rare that we actually see PEs of shoes releasing. Iverson's PE was a mid-top, not a low, and they did have this little strap right here because the zippers kept busting open. So they modified his pairs, they still busted open, and he wore them loose, and he still got buckets, and he still broke everybody's ankle. He still got MVP in this shoe. But that's why they look like this. So for everybody freaking out that they're not like what actually hit retail stores, I understand. I'm the same way, but at least that's why they look like this. Something that they changed between this version and the last is the tongue. They made the tongue look like the original. It's got the Iverson down the center. I think the last one just had the bar with a little line down the middle or whatever. It wasn't anything crazy. The insoles are mad funny though. You're gonna get a kick out of this. Are you ready?
Is he back on it?
No, well, kind of.
Oh my God.
Hey man, this is dope. His face is on the shoe though.
I know, I saw.
Right back there.
I saw it.
Just in case you want to know what he looked like.
It's like he's on the side of a milk carton.
Exactly. Now the leather on these guys are decent. It's not like the Questions. The Questions have a nice softer leather. It does look the same though. It's got that pebbly look to it. Obviously the originals right here had a smooth leather front and back. These guys used the tumble. It was probably cheaper for them to buy in bulk instead of switch things up. Also, I forgot to say that the back right here is also reflective. Now as far as size is concerned, go true to size. That's what I did. That's what I'd recommend. If you wanted a super snug fit, you could go down half a size, like if you were trying to play in them or whatever, which I don't recommend, even though they were decent, but it's just, I wouldn't do it. But they do fit true to size for anybody wondering, and I think that they look fantastic.
Don't
but
ask, just
you know,
don't.
Yeah, I know that she doesn't like them, man. She don't like none of my, she loves the Reebok classics, but she doesn't like any of my 90s and 2000s Reebok basketball shoes. Like Shaq's, you know, the Kamikazes, Iverson, anything, like all of it, she's like,
no, thank you.
yeah, she likes the classics from the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, but she don't f with none of the newer aged stuff. And I think it's a bummer, but I feel fresh as with these. One thing also that I forgot to say is that the inside, it does have the vinyl like the original, but the originals, man, they're like really sticky now. I try to put these on and the vinyl just like rubbed right off. So over time, it won't age well, but you know, wear them while you can. I do not like when they put the vinyl inside because of that though. Oh, also something that some people might get offended by is that they took off the toe stitching off the cap, which is a performance thing because they didn't want this to peel off. So it is what it is. They're not a perfect retro by any means. None of the Reeboks seem to be anymore. There's already not enough people that remember what this dude did. They think that Kyrie is better than AI. AI took Eric Snow to the finals, man. I get it. Kyrie can handle that rock like it's got a string on it, dude. Like I've seen him do things where I'm like, what? I cannot believe it. One of my favorite Kyrie clips ever. It was like during the USA tryouts. And he, from coast to coast, juked every player, including Kobe Bryant. And it was one of the most like jaw drop. I was like, oh. And he even lost his handle.
Did he look like Quicksilver out there?
Like the slow-mo thing? That's how I feel like that guy sees the floor. Is that like he moves in a way where like I think what he's feeling and seeing is so drastically different than everyone else, and I don't see how he does it, because he does things where he'll pivot turn without picking up the dribble, okay? So he can still continue if he wanted to, in between the thinnest of margins.
He shoots the gap.
It's not shooting the gap. He like goes through dimensions, you know? Like it's such a weird thing to watch. I see it and I'm always just in awe of like what he can do. However, this guy right here, AI, had the heart of a lion, dude. Like he was a champ without winning the ring. Like I don't care what anybody says that season specifically or this season specifically. This dude went up against, you know, Goliath, Shaq, Kobe, and the Lakers. They only won the one game, but like still, like it was amazing though. And they weren't even expected. They said that they were going to sweep. All the analysts, they're like, oh man, the Sixers about to get swept. And he did the thing where he crossed over Tyrone Lue or whatever. The dude fell on his ass. He hit the shot and then walked over him like, yeah, Like, this is what it is.
That's so rude.
It is. And then they lost the rest of the games. But like, but they beat them.
That's called karma.
No, that's called Shaq, Kobe, and the Lakers. Okay, that's what that is. That's not karma. That's just statistics. Yeah, that was crazy though, man. Like, this dude, like, he went up against guys that just no business, and he went into the lane every night, injured, no complaints, nothing, finishing against these guys. He was incredible, man. I'm not trying to take anything away from Kyrie. Like I said, he's fantastic. I feel like he won that championship with Cleveland. If it wasn't for him hitting them shots, he came in clutch. I'm just saying, if you're comparing, you know, which we should never do, because the only reason why Kyrie is as good as he is with that rock, because he grew up watching dudes like this. And so he took what he learned from him and he elevated it. That's what they do. That's what these generations do. They learn from the past and give you new stuff for the future. And it's amazing. And that's what we should celebrate. Being like, dude, if it wasn't for AI, Kyrie wouldn't be Mr. Yo-Yo with the ball and dude. Like, the dude does stuff where I'm telling you, man. But this guy did it first, and he did it better. And if you ask Kyrie, I do wonder what he knows. I don't know if anybody's ever asked him this, but I do wonder. Because if you ask AI, I think that AI has given the credit to Kyrie. But also at the same time, I remember MJ getting asked these questions too. And MJ said, you should not compare us because I cannot play them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was really...
Oh, you didn't think he was going to say that, did you?
No. That was really...
There's only one guy that's ever considered himself the greatest of all time, and that's LeBron James. Okay? So don't give me that MJ knows what's up.
Okay.
But that's the thing though, like, I just watched I rewatched it. I've seen it like a billion times. So I watched this documentary on him, and it was filmed in the 90s, and it was right after Magic Johnson had retired because of being diagnosed with HIV and everything. MJ was pissed because he couldn't beat him. You know what I mean? And and he said specifically, I feel cheated because I cannot prove that I could beat you.
Wow.
But anyways, Michael Jordan knew that he had no opportunity to play the other greats, and so therefore he could not consider himself the true GOAT. And that's how things should be, is that if you cannot literally pit them up against each other, there's no way to know. The numbers thing, all records are meant to be broken. And again, they're only there because the person before you said it. So he had to have been great. Ergo, Iverson and Kyrie. There's no Kyrie the way that Kyrie is without AI first.
I didn't realize this Iverson-Kyrie thing has been going on for so long. I just read about it like in the last week or two.
It's not a huge, that's what I mean though, by there's a generation of people that don't know this guy, and they should. That's what I'm saying. There's a whole generation that seems to have just forgotten AI even existed. Like, you have to acknowledge, respect, admire, and then learn from what came before you. That's the only reason why you can move forward. But yeah, that's my thoughts, man. I hope that if you do end up with a pair of these, that you enjoy them. Just for casual use, I think they're fine. But if you're looking for something like the original, that they are not. But thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the support, and until next time, guys, have a good one.